So what is optimization? Is it maximizing the business or maximizing some parameter, trying to minimize something, a loss, or perhaps minimizing costs? Are we trying to balance things that go on in the business? And there's always these dynamic tensions between objectives. Or are we talking about efficiency and effectiveness, where I want to know that I'm doing the right things and I'm doing the right things well? Is it building scenarios? And people will use that term scenario also. It's a much abused word, but generally it refers to a solution or an answer that you're getting to a problem you've posed, but concerning the environment in which the mine is working. Are we trying to simulate the business? And again, we need models if we're going to do that. Or do we simply, on a routine basis, want to close the gap between what we said we would do and what we've actually done? Constraints analysis. Any shaft, any haulage, any stope, all have limits to what they can produce. They are the natural constraints, and they're built in, they're engineered into any mining operation. Sensitivity analysis. What happens if I change the commodity price? How much better off would my business be? What's the commodity price at which I should change my plan? All of these are the kinds of questions that people would engage in when they want to do sensitivity analyses. Is it continuous improvement? And these could be many hundreds of initiatives on a mine at any one time. A business improvement tends to be a more strategic approach and an umbrella for a lot of continuous improvement activities. But there is a science behind that as well, in terms of the variability of data, trying to manage the stability of the organization, and then being in a position to project and predict and forecast what's going to happen. Is it linear programming? Well, you can do that with an Excel spreadsheet, and many people do. It's fairly simple mathematics. You learnt it when you were at school, even if you've forgotten. A search engine is a much more powerful mathematical tool, and if you want to talk to it intelligently, you need a PhD in mathematics. The words heuristics and stochastic get blown about. Heuristics is really just bringing experience to bear on the data that you've got in front of you. So if I give a mining problem to a mathematician, he's going to miss out because he doesn't understand the business. If I give a large problem to a mining guy who's got all the experience in the world, but he can't get the answers in a quick enough time to suit his planning cycle, he's just not even going to bother to try. But if we bring the right tools and technologies to bear, we can start providing these answers and fit in within the planning cycle. The word stochastic refers to probabilities. It's easier for us just to have one number for one parameter. Most parameters have a spectrum of results. So I might have a standard stoping efficiency, but there's a range across the mine. Some people do well, some people do not so well. Even the same crew will have different production results in different months. How far am I away from the center gully? How far am I from the shaft? All of these things would impact the number that comes out at the end of the month in terms of stoping efficiency. But when we plan, we use one number for everybody. And so we have tools that can actually cope with all of this data. The trick for us is to make the data available. And at the end of the day, is optimization simply picking the best option you have in the time available? Planning cycles are notoriously tight timeframes, even on an annual basis. To get everybody from the geologist to the metallurgist and the financial department and all your layers of management involved, you are lucky if you finish within the time frame. And the guy who gets squeezed most is the mine planner, the guy generating most of the data on which we're going to be taking decisions in the future. And so by bringing new technologies to bear, we're able to answer questions much more quickly, direct the planner into the best direction for the business, and substantially reduce the amount of time it takes to come up with those alternative plans.